Hello, everyone. Welcome to Contracting 101. My name is Scott Poole, and I'm with the Small Business Development Center. A little bit about me. I worked with various government contractors, mainly on the federal side, since 1990. I taught government contracting, pricing, finance, and management courses at a local university. And prior to all this, working with government contractors, I worked in a commercial bank. Started out as a teller, then became a lender, making all kinds of loans, one of which is business loans. Now, who are we? We're one of the resource partners with the Small Business Administration. We have 21 centers across the state, and we offer individual confidential consulting at no cost to our clients. All our consultants are highly trained, and we assist existing business as well as startups. Some of those areas are we help folks with business plans, fiscal and operations management, financing options, marketing strategies, human resources, and many, many more. Now, the centers also conduct education workshops and provide referrals to useful business resources. Now, other things that we do is specialization services, where it includes exporting, technology commercialization, veteran business assistance, and minority outreach, and government contracting. That's our topic for today. So if you want to get a hold of us, you can sign on. You'll click on this little link here at the bottom, and this will take you to our site. And you can just click this sign where it says sign up to request counseling, and we'll be more than happy to assist you. And that was just my little blurb here, and I'll hand this off to Angela Brewer with the Small Business Administration.
Thank you so much, Scott. Can you all see my presentation?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, we're still working from home. My dog hears somebody at the door. Good afternoon. My name is Angela Brewer. I'm a business opportunity specialist with the South Carolina District Office, and I'm also the Woman on Small Business rep for the state. Before I get started, I have my coworker, William Furman, who's the area manager for the, do he have access to speak, Carolyn? Because I know he wanted to talk about the 46 and 46 before I get started.
Hey, Angela, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, William.
Hey, this is William Furman. I'm senior area manager in Charleston, cover the coastal area of the state. Just a couple of things I want to mention. Thanks, Angela. We do have an initiative that is ongoing. It's called 46 Counties in 46 Days. We're trying to draw attention to the fact that all of the COVID programs are winding down, and there is much more that SBA has to offer other than PPP loans and EIDL loans. And this is this workshop is a very good example of that with our contracting program. So I think you're in for a really good training session today. But these sessions, you can go and find all of our events on our webpage. That's www.sba.gov/SC. And we have an event calendar there, and you can find that. We have done a lot of them. We've done the events in the Charleston area, but we do have one coming up for Colleton County as well as Beaufort. And so if you missed Charleston, no worries. Join us for Colleton or Beaufort. So with that, I know, Angela, you have a lot to go over, so I'm going to jump off, and thanks for the opportunity.
You're welcome, William. Thank you all for joining us. Today, I'm going to be talking about federal contracting. The federal contractor, well, dealing with the federal government, they're one of the largest buyers of goods sold in the United States. If I'm not mistaken, last year, 2021, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the federal government purchased over $500 billion in goods and services. Do you want to be part of that? Is your business ready for federal contract? I must do a disclaimer. Not all businesses are fit for federal contract. We have a couple of sites that I'm going to take you to. I'm going to go over that you can see if the federal government is buying what you're selling. But that's one thing you want to ask yourself. Do the federal government buy what I sell? The federal government buys just about everything, landscape and IT, construction. Well, I know a lot of bases here in South Carolina have revitalized their housing for soldiers. They do their front gates coming in. So there's a lot of, IT construction going on. So what is it that you do? That's some things you must ask yourself. What is it that the federal government is buying? And if you go to USA Spending.gov or FPDS.gov, and you can see some of the things that the federal government has purchased over the years. Do you have federal contract? Do you have federal contracting experience? You don't necessarily have to have federal contracting experience, but they do want you to have experience. You have to put yourself in their shoes. If you have $1 million contract and I walk off the street and the only thing you know about me is that I work for SBA and you want me to build a house, would you offer me a $1 million contract without knowing what I have done previously, whether it's on private sector, local or state of federal government side? No, the federal government has the same mindset as you do. Unless you have some type of past performance and it does not have to be federal work, you need to have something to show that you can do the job. Are you capable? Do you have the capability of fulfilling the contract? I know I've been reviewing some business plan for what we call an 8A firm, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But coming to find out, because they're a construction company, it's hard to find laborers nowadays. That's one of the biggest downfalls to construction company is finding labor. I'm going to mention construction a lot because that's who I deal with. My portfolio is, I think, about 80% of construction firms. So that's who I deal with a lot, but there's more than construction in federal contracting. So you're asking when you're going through the process, because I'm going to also send Carolyn and Robert a one-pager, front and back, about federal contracting to ask yourself 10 questions to determine if you are ready for federal contract. And if you are and you still have questions, my contact information is going to be on the last slide and you can go to that. Do you know who's buying what you're selling? Where to find federal contracts? We used to have a system called FBO. FBO is now on SAM. They're trying to put everything on SAM now. So you can find opportunity solicitation, previous solicitations. You can go to SAM.gov and you can find opportunities under your NAICS code. You can search by NAICS code to see who. Someone say something? Okay, you can go to SAM.gov and look for opportunities there. In order to work with the federal government, there's only one thing that you must do, and that's be registered in SAM, System for Award Management. In order to register in SAM, you need a DUNS number, but coming April the 4th, it's going to be called UEI, Unique Entity something. I can't remember. But April the 4th, it's going to change from DUNS to UEI. So if you click on the link, because these links are active, when I send the slides to Carolyn and Robert, you'll be able to click on the link. If you have not registered in SAM or you have not gotten a DUNS or a tax ID number, you can click on the hyperlinks and it'll take you to the website. Because and one thing I must tell you, another disclaimer, when you go in DUNS and you put your phone number and your email address, you're going to get a few calls and not a lot of calls. People telling you that they have been assigned as your representative, they have been assigned as your counselor, and they're going to help you get registered in DUNS, they're going to help you get registered in SAM. But one thing I must mention, because I'm not going to tell you not to use it because that's your preference, but it is at a cost. The same information or the same services they're going to provide to you, you can come to the SBDC. We have a women's business center and we have SCORE in the Charleston, the Low Country area. I just say the Low Country area. that can do the same thing for you, can assist you with doing the same thing that they're going to charge you maybe $300 a month because you have to join. It's like a subscription. You have to subscribe and there's a monthly cost to that. But you can even reach out to me or our office and we can assist you because there's 3 of us. I'll have our contact information at the end that can help you register or get you to DUNS, or you can just call the number, the 1-866 number that's listed here, and you can reach out to them. And the next step is SAM. I'm going to send out a quick guide step to registering SAM. It takes 14 to 21 days to get successfully registered in SAM. Once you get your DUNS number, you'll receive an email. It'll take you to SAM. You can go to SAM. Once you register in SAM, it's going to give you one email and it's going to tell you, congratulations, you have completed your SAM registration. 14 to 21 days after that, working days, because GSA, it goes through GSA. Federal government, we don't work weekend unless we're on special assignment. So 14 to 21 business days, you receive, if everything works out or pan out, because that means DUNS have to talk to SAM, SAM talk to DUNS to verify all the information is correct. So once you get that 14 to 21 days, you'll receive a final email saying, congratulations, you have successfully registered in SAM. At that time, you can start applying for contracts on SAM.gov as a total small business. That's the only thing that requires in order to work with the federal government to bid on total small business set aside. But if you want, we have 4 preferential programs that we have, that SBA manages. We have well, let me stop there. When dealing with federal contracts, the federal government has mandated that 23% of that $500 billion that I told you that they spent last year, that the federal government spent last year on contracts, 23% of that must go to small business. So that large piece of the pie that you see right there, that's 77% or 67%, 77%, I'm sorry, that goes to buying planes, trains, ships, energy, different things like that. But the other 23% is broken down for small businesses. Like we say, we have, like I said, we have 4 preferential programs. We have the woman-owned small business, and we have the 8A, or as some people might call, the minority program. Each one of those are 5%. Then we have the HUBZone and the Service Veteran program. Each one of those are 3%. So that's just equate to 16%. So as I stated, 23% of that must be for small business. So if you take that 16 from the 23, that's still 7% that can go to small businesses that's just registered in SAM. So that's the only thing that you must do in order to do federal contract is to register in SAM. So now I'm going to break that down and talk to you about our 4 preferential programs, that you know what is required in order to register or be certified, because it's a certification process. Everything but the Service Veteran program is a certification process. Now we have our woman-owned small business or economic disadvantaged woman-owned small business. In order to certify as a woman-owned small business, we have a NAICS code. I don't know if you have a NAICS code. If you have registered SAM, you would have a NAICS code, NAICS code. But if you haven't registered SAM, you know, I can help you determine your NAICS code, or this SBDC can help you determine your NAICS code, depending on what industry you're in. So as a woman-owned small business, not all NAICS code fall under woman-owned small business, but there's a lot that do. And the same thing with EDWSB. Those are more than likely going to be manufacturing for EDWSB, but WSB and EDWSB is a certification process. Rule number 2, there's a rule of 2. So if there's 2 or more, if you go on, I'm going to take you out to SAM.gov once I finish my presentation. And if you go out there and there's a pre-solicitation or a source of salt, and 2 women-owned small business, certified women-owned small business, express interest, send an email to the contracting officer, that's where the rule of 2 come in play. They will set that aside for a woman-owned small business. Contracts must be awarded at fair market price. So that means looking at the market, taking material in consideration, looking at how much you pay employees. When you do a proposal, they want it to be at fair market price. So that's how they look at the woman-owned small business set aside. To be an economic disadvantaged woman-owned small business, your personal net worth has to be less than $750,000. So that's your asset minus your liability must equate less than $750,000, and your 3-year average income must be less than $350,000. So that means they add up all your average for the past 3 years and divide by 3, and that will give them an average, and it has to be less than $350,000. And your fair market value of all your that includes your business, all your material, or all your equipment that you have, all that has to be less than $6 million in order to be considered as an EDWSB. And how do they get that? When you going through certified to apply, you must submit your taxes and you must submit your profit and loss statement for the last 3 years. If you find that you cannot do this, like I stated, I am the EDWSB for the state. I don't have access to beta.certified.sba.gov where you go to register. But if you send me an email, we do a team or a Zoom meeting like we're doing today, I can walk you through, once you log in, I can walk you through, look at some of the discrepancies, because they will send you a discrepancy notification if there's something wrong. But if you decide to use one of these four-party vetted vendors right here, and again, there is a cost or membership fee that you have to pay. But if you reach out to me after you submitted and got declined or got a notification that there were some things that you were missed out of the application process, send me an email. I will be more than happy to take time out and, an hour long, depending on how much information they say you missed, and we can walk through that. That's why if you go to certified.sba.gov, there's a checklist of things that you need for all our programs. So I'm going to take you to certified once I finish going through the presentation to show you where to go find this checklist for those who have not got certified. There's a checklist of things that you must, especially with the WSB in the 8A program, because when you're going through each section, they're going to ask you for specific documentation like your taxes, your business plan, your capability statement. They're going to ask you for your profit and loss and balance sheet, which is considered financial. They're going to ask you for, so when you're going through these sections, filling out the application, there is not going to let you go any further until you upload those documents. So make sure you look at the checklist and put them in a folder on your desktop or somewhere on your computer. So when you're going through the application process, it's easier to find instead of you having to stop and go find these documents. So look at the checklist first. But as I was stating, these are four-party vetted firms that can assist you get your woman-owned small business certification so you can get certified with SBA. They have been vetted, and these are the only one that SBA is going to accept. If you had anyone other than SBA, anyone else assist you with getting there, because they're going to ask for, if you have a third-party certifier, they're going to ask for their, I think it's a certificate from them showing that, they're vetted. Next, we're going to go into our 8A program. Like I said, the 8A program is considered the minority because, well, in reference or compared to the state and local government, this is our minority program. In order to be in the 8A program, you must have been in business for 2 years, and you must be socially and economic disadvantaged. When I say socially disadvantaged, you must fall into one of the categories that I have here: Black American, Asian American, Hispanic, Native American, a subcontinental Asian American. And that is to be considered, not to be in the program because you still have to apply, but in order to be considered for the program, you must fall into one of those categories. But if you do not fall into one of those categories, below part 2, if you, for whatever reason, can show a preponderance of evidence that you have been discriminated against, you've been, been passed over promotion for whatever reason, they will take that into consideration, but you have to show the evidence. Let me give you a couple of examples. Right now in my portfolio, I have a Caucasian male that was in the military, and whatever his medical condition was precluded him from getting promoted in the military, and he actually got a medical discharge out the military. He can show that evidence that his medical condition precluded him from going any further in his career. So they took that in consideration and they allowed him into the program. As you can see, Caucasian is not an automatic consideration. So you have to show preponderance of evidence. We also had a Caucasian email. She was one of the top firms we had in our 8A program at one time before she graduated. She was considered legally blind, which means she went to her doctor, the state declared her legally blind. And when she was in the private sector, they passed her over for promotion or for whatever reason, you know, they can't say because she's handicapped or she couldn't see. So they passed over promotion. So she ended up starting her own IT firm, and she was very successful in federal contracting in the 8A program. So those are the social, that's the socially part of being in the 8A program. Then we have economic disadvantage. You have to be economic disadvantaged. That means your personal net worth must be less than $750,000. Your 3-year average must be less than $350,000. And again, your market value has to be $6 million or less. The 8A program is not a forever program. Like I stated, you graduate. It's a 9-year program. The first 4 years of the program is what we call developmental part. That means that you are developing your business. Well, not developing your business, because I hope your business is developed, because you don't want to wait 4 years into the program and then decide, you know, I'm ready for a contract now. That's why they say you have to be in business at least 2 years to get into the 8A program, or you have to have experience. So if you right now is a program manager, project manager for a construction company, and you decide you want to get an 8A program, they would take that experience into consideration. But it's a 9-year program. The first 4 years of developmental program, you can get all the 8A sole source contract that you want. A sole source is if you are a firm, whether it's 8A, woman on HUBZone, whatever, if you are a firm and you see a solicitation out there that it say it's sole source or it has not been set aside, because I'm going to show you that in a few minutes, you can go to a contracting officer and you can pitch that idea as an 8A firm to them. They can say, okay, you can get the contract. You do your proposal of how much it's going to cost you to do that contract. If it's at fair market value, and as an 8A, it has to be less than $4.5 million for construction and $6 million for services. They can award that contract directly to you without it being seen on the street. That is in SAM. They don't have to market it for anyone else to go after that contract. It'll be directly set aside or sole source to you. So that's one of the benefits of being in the 8A program. And then the last 5 years is called transition, which just like you do your kids, a baby, when you want to wean them off the pacifier or a bottle, you take it gradually. The first year you have to have at least 15% of your work has to be non-8A. So that can still give you a 85% cushion. So 15% has to be non-AA, and each year it adds 10 more percent until the 9th year or the 5th year of your transition when you graduate from the program. Next, we have HUBZone, historically underutilized business zone. Every 10 years, the federal government does a census. When they do a census, they declare areas that is low jobless, low income, low unemployment rate as a HUBZone. In order to be in the HUBZone, well, in order to be in all of our programs, you have to be 51% owned and you have to be a U.S. citizen. Your principal office have to be in a HUBZone. That means where the majority of your employees work from has to be in a HUBZone. 35% of your employees must also reside in a HUBZone. It does not have to be the same HUBZone that your business is currently located in, but it has to be in a HUBZone. When you apply for a HUBZone, you have to send in all your employees' information, like their lease or mortgage agreement to their home, the most current, which is 60 days of a utility bill, and your driver's license, because the driver's license has to state the same thing as your lease or the mortgage that you have. We have a size standard. We talked about NAICS code. So when you see size standard or hear size, they're talking about your NAICS code. And the HUBZone location. We have a HUBZone map. If you go to SBA.gov/HUBZone, it will take you to a HUBZone map, and you will be able to click on the map. And one thing I must tell you, some counties, like I went to Dillon County last week, some counties, Dillon, Marlboro, those little small towns, may be considered HUBZone, the whole county, but still put your address in the system, in the address box. Because I know I've gone on, when I first started, I've gone with my coworker Carl, and less than 20, 50 yards, because on a 2-lane road, less than 50 yards across the street, that resident or that business was not considered HUBZone. So you have to put your complete address in there to determine if you're a HUBZone. HUBZone is the only application process that is not on certified.sba.gov. Currently, it's still in GLS, and HUBZone has to be recertified every 5 years. So every 5 years, you would go through a recertification process, and we do annual visits. Not every HUBZone get a visit, but depending on how many HUBZones we have in the state, we do annual visit to HUBZone. And normally we do HUBZone visits when you're up for recertification, or they're reconsidering whether you're still in a HUBZone. So that's when we do a HUBZone visit. Lastly, we have the Services Able Veteran Program. That's self-explanatory. If you have to be 51% owned in the company. You must manage the day-to-day operation. You have to be the highest officer, which means you have to be the highest paid in the company. And you must have managerial experience, and you have to have NAICS code. SBA have the Services Able Veteran Program, but the VA has the Veteran-Owned Small Business Program. And you have to go to Vet First in order to apply for the VA. The SBA Services Able Veteran Program is self-certified. So when you're going through SAM, and it's gonna ask you, are you a veteran or you are a Services Able veteran? You just check the box. And with that, that's the only thing. SBA is supposed to be taking over the Veteran-Owned Small Business Program in 2023, but it's still, we hadn't gotten it yet. So everything still goes through the VA for the Veteran-Owned Small Business. And about 90%, 85% of all the contracts that come out the VA are to either veterans or Services Able veteran, unless there's a specialized industry that you're in that they don't have it inside. Because I know I'm a veteran, a Services Able veteran, and I had to have an allergy test, a hearing test one time, and they didn't have it at the VA. So they sent me to an outside provider that possibly was a veteran. So they have specialized services that, so not saying that all work goes to veteran. There are some times when specialized services go outside to my outside provider. Here's our resources. We have, like I stated, we have the we have PTAC. We have we just got a PTAC here in South Carolina in October, I think it is. That link is active. You can click on that link, and PTAC can assist you with a lot of your small business need. We have the SBDC, we have the WBC. We have our 3 business opportunity specialists, and my Triple D, who was also on the call, Michael Corp. He used to be a BOS. Now he's promoted to the Triple D, the Deputy District Director. We all can answer questions about being certified. And sometimes we can answer questions about contracts, but most time, if you have a contracting question, we always recommend you to go to the contracting officer, because they're the only one that can make that change. Or we have PCRs. We can give you a list of PCRs if you have to issue a contract that can assist you with any contracting issues you may have, whether it's being paid, something going on with the contract that wasn't put in the original contract. If you PCRs can help you with that. But when marketing to the federal government, like I stated, all opportunities now are listed on SAM.gov. I'm going to click on that, but let me show you this real quick. This is our contact information. So if you have any need or have any questions about certification, please reach out to our office. One of us will be able to assist you. Carl and Stephanie and Mike are former contractors. They used to work at Shaw Air Force Base back in the 2000s. So contracting questions, they typically can answer just about any contracting question, but we do not get into the business of when contracting office has made a decision unless there's something that's against the FAR, the federal acquisition regulation that governs SBA and small business. But Mike and Carl and Stephanie can answer contracting questions. I'm almost as good as they are. And William in the Low Country area, in the Charleston area, he's very familiar with contracting. So I know his main background is the finance part of it. But if you have, because he does a lot of our contracting for the Low Country area, he does a lot of contracting down there also. So if we haven't gone back into the office, we have started doing a little face-to-face contract, going face-to-face opportunities, going out into the public and doing face-to-face events, because I know I've done 2 so far, 3, I think. So If you reach out to William, if you can put your information in the chat. If you're in the low country area, you want to speak to someone there that's close to you, so when we start open back up, you can make an appointment with William or the SBDC. But William is very familiar. Forgive me, my allergies is acting up. William is very familiar with the contracting program, and what he cannot assist you with, if you cannot get him, please reach out to one of the four of us, and we can assist you with your contracting questions. Like I stated, I'm going to take you to some of the links that I have here. Where's my SAM? I thought I had it up. Hold on for just a minute. Are you all seeing my SAM page?
Yes, Angela.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephanie. If you go to SAM.gov, if you have not registered in SAM, if you go to SAM.gov, make sure you put SAM.gov in there. But if you're looking for contracting opportunities, see what's out there for your particular NAICS code or your industry. Only thing you have to do is put in your NAICS code, and it'll give you a list of opportunities that are available currently and past. Well, right now I see that updated, but you can see all the past. I put in 236220. That's commercial and an institutional construction build. So if that's your NAICS code, if you put in just your NAICS code, it'll tell you what opportunities out there. You can look at past NAICS codes. You can look at what's currently out. This one right here, let me see if I can find one that I was talking about. Source of salt. This is a source of salt right here. It's for a medical, dental, and veterinary equipment supply. They're looking for someone to build. And right here, you're looking for set aside. It's a source of salt. So right now, they just did this morning. And they're looking, so if there are 2 females or 2 8A firms or 2 veteran-owned that can do, because make sure you read down, because I know I had an issue with one of my firms reaching out, because it said right underneath a solicitation that he applied for, only for Virginia firms. So make sure you look through the entire solicitation before you express interest, and make sure you can do what they're asking of you. If you click on the link, the Word document is a statement of work. It tells you everything that the job is required. So if you look through here, and I think this is from the VA. Yes, Veteran Affairs. So evidently they didn't have anyone in their portfolio that could do this, because they're doing market research. So if you are a woman-owned small business, or a 8A firm, or a service-disabled veteran, or in a HUBZone, and if 2 or more people apply and say that they can do this opportunity, they will set it aside for that particular area. They'll set aside for woman-owned, or HUBZone, or 8A. So that's what you're looking for, unless it's all, are you looking for something that's total small business set aside? Over here, I don't know why I'm doing it. Over here, you can actually sort by what you're looking for. You can do anything, just source of salt. Under that NAICS code 236220, it's going to list everything that's source of salt. And it's going to give you a date of response. You can look for pre-solicitation. Anything that's pre-solicitation. Right now, they're still trying to make they're doing a market research, trying to see who they're going to do it for. Or if you're a woman-owned small business or HUBZone, you can have it, you can just look for anything that's HUBZone or 8A, and it'll have it there. So that's what you're looking for. When you're looking for opportunities, you want to, you can narrow it down by South Carolina, place of performance. But one thing I'm going to have to admit, when you narrow it down it's going to limit the opportunity because there may not be anything in South Carolina under that particular NAICS code 236220. Nothing. Well, no pre-solicitation. Let's take that out. They do have one that's a sources, or that's 2019. So that has expired. So there's nothing under the HUBZone in South Carolina. So if you take South Carolina, it opens up the playing pool. So, but I'm not going to encourage you to go after contracts all over the state if you cannot perform. If you can only perform things in South Carolina, that's when you go out and you do a capability brief to the contracting officers. Oh, what is it? I said USA spending. I was explaining to you about USA spending. Anything that's found in the federal government, you can go all the way back to 2008, but I encourage you to look at the last 10 years, last 5 years. If you're looking for something in your particular NAICS code and you want to know if the federal government is buying what you're selling, just check the box of the year that is there. And then you can put in your NAICS code. You can type in the code, or you can type in the description and search submit. As you can see, there has been 25 million contracts under that particular NAICS code over the last 6 years. So if you're interested in contract in your industry, just go to USA Spending and it can tell you what's available, what have been there. They even have some in 2022. That means it is expiring. This particular one expires, and if you have NAICS code 236220, you can actually look at doing going to the contracting officer who's here and expressing interest in this contract. This is a $26 billion contract. And I also said I was going to take you through certify. And you want to know, are you, well, I first talked about prepared. If you want to, like I said, look at the checklist. There are different checklists of everything that you need. Here's the woman-owned small business, but you can just click on the hyperlink. Here's woman-owned small business, economic disadvantage. And when you go to 8A, it's going to take you to a different page. When you click on 8A, it's going to take you off this page to a different page. So you can click on that. You can see if you're eligible for federal contracts. So it looks at 8A woman-owned and HUBZone. You can answer a series of questions. It'll tell you if you are eligible. This one says, are you a qualified individual firm who are applying for SBA small business citizen? You want to select yes. Do you own at least 51% in unconditional and direct in your company? Yes. When dealing with federal government, you have to be a for-profit business. So you cannot be a nonprofit. Nonprofit entities are ineligible to participate in most of SBA small business program. So you have to be for-profit. Do you affirm that neither this firm nor any of your owners have ever been disbarred or suspended from federal contracting? Does this firm have a place of business in the United States and operate primarily in the United States? Is the firm considered a small business? When they ask you if you're a small business, they're talking about your NAICS code. 236220 that I keep bringing up, its 5-year average has to be remain below $39.5 million. So that when it says small, it depends on the 5-year average of your monetary, or it depends on when it's dealing with manufacturing, it can go from 50 to 500 employees. So are you qualified individual firm is a woman-owned small business, at least 51%. And it asks for your NAICS code. I'm gonna have to remember another NAICS code. Are you qualified individual economic? That means is the economic disadvantage. That means is your personal net worth less than $750,000? Are the individual interested in participating in SBA small business program economic disadvantage? That means your personal net worth has to be below $750,000.
Hey, Angela.
Yes, sir.
This is Mike Corp. Hey, just to add, you know, and you could see it, I'm sure. I just want to point that out too, like to the right there, it'll tell you why they're asking you that question. You know, like when they were asking you for your NAICS code,
Yes.
Stephanie and I think, inserted a link to look up NAICS codes, and it'll give you the links in there too. You know, that's why this is it's a really good tool, because it kind of, you know, if you had only 15 minutes to do the whole class, you could do it off of this Am I Eligible? So hopefully everybody will go back through this after the class. Thanks.
Did you all put the certified link in there also, Michael?
Yes, Stephanie just put it in there.
Thank you. Do you identify with one of these 5 areas? Do you consider yourself socially disadvantaged? That means the 5 areas that I just went over in previous question. Has the firm previously been certified in the 8A program? When the 8A program, I talked about the 9-year program. At some point, if you ever get an 8A program, and at some point you feel that, you know, this is overwhelming, you cannot devote, because you have to devote 100% of your time to the 8A program. I know a gentleman called me about a week or 2 ago. He had a job, but he applied for the 8A program, but he was still working a job. And I told him, you cannot have a job plus being an 8A program. The 8A is a business development program, and 100% of your time has to be in the 8A program. I know we've had a couple of people who voluntarily got out the program. If you get out the program, or you get put out the program for whatever reason, unless you can show, if you get put out, unless you can show evidence that, you know, it was no fault of your own. I know there has been instances where they let this one firm back into the 8A program, but if you voluntarily withdraw from the 8A program, that's it. It's a one-time application process. So, but if they graduate you early or put you out for whatever reason, if you can show evidence that the evidence that they found was not founded or not true, you can you can get back into the 8A program with SBA have to approve it though. But if you've ever been in an 8A program before, you cannot get in it again. Has the firm previously been certified as an 8A participant? No. Have any individual claiming social and economic disadvantage previously used their 8A eligible to as a BD? No. Is the address and the location in the HUBZone? Are you located in the HUBZone? Mike or Stephanie or William, can one of you all put the HUBZone map link in there for those who are interested in the HUBZone, please?
Yes, I can.
And it's off to the right there also. That's kind of, you know, where we were saying, where you can go and, you know, you don't need to click on it, but they'll have it where they can look up addresses.
Yes. Is the area you located, your employees and your work is located in the HUBZone? Do 35% of your employees reside in the HUBZone? So according to the answers that I put in here, it tells me I am eligible for woman-owned small business, economic disadvantage woman-owned small business, the 8A in the HUBZone program. If you click on each one of these hyperlinks that say I'm eligible for, it will actually take you to the application. With woman-owned and EDWSB, it's on beta.certified.sba.gov. For the 8A program, it's on the certified site right here. It was right here, but the 8A is right here in certified. And for HUBZone, like I stated, it's in GLS. You have to apply through GLS. So that's, go ahead,
Angela.
Mike.
Oh, I was going to say, click on that bottom one on the HUBZone one, how to apply. Because this is something we sometimes like to do. And we sent a link in here earlier, actually a couple links. Like if you wanted to, you know, if you think you might fit into the HUBZone area, you can click right on that link. And you know, everything Angela said, you know, the slides, going through the am I eligible, going through the checklist, the website. I mean, it's important to, we're going through this quick, and when you get ready to do this, you want to take your time. You want to be very methodical, go through the whole thing and make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's, because that'll save you time later instead of getting, back and forth trying to correct discrepancies. And
Yes.
it'll link you there somewhere in there, Angela. It'll link you to the the application at some point. It's going to tell you all about the benefits. There's some really good for HUBZone. There's actually some really good handouts and things like that. They have a weekly call with questions. So you always want to go back to our website, because there's that's going to get you back. And I always say when we talk about things, anything that Angela or I or anybody else can talk about is back on the SBA website. So that's a good place to go back to. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Now we're going to open it up to questions. Are there any questions? I know Mike and Stephanie and William probably answered all the questions in the chat, but are there any questions that you may have asked, or anything that I didn't cover that you want to go over? So y'all telling me I did that great of a job?
You were outstanding, and you were.
Thank you.
There's a raised hand there, Bill Becker.
Go ahead and ask your question. Are they unmuted, or they have to put it in the chat, Carolyn?
Actually, they can unmute or type it in the chat.
Thank you, Robert. So you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Crystal Newkirk.
Yes, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. So Angela, you did a great job. So while you were speaking, I was trying to answer the question for myself, who is buying my service? So I went to SAM.gov and typed in the NAICS code and tried to start at the South Carolina level. And I didn't see anything. So I wasn't sure if I was doing something inaccurate. So are you able to demonstrate that again?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So can I give you the code?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I'm ready. Can
Okay,
you see my screen?
541612.
My screen?
Yes.
There's a possibility, ma'am,
Uh-huh.
that there may not be anything in South Carolina under that particular NAICS code, because I see there are 85 opportunities, whether it's past or present. These are some present opportunities right here. This one was published yesterday, but you want to narrow it down to South Carolina. There's a possibility that there may not be any opportunities here in South Carolina under that particular NAICS code. But like I stated, if you cannot perform outside of South Carolina, I don't encourage you not to do it. But what is this particular NAICS code? What is the industry?
Human resources consulting services.
Okay, you can reach out to the agencies, because I know here in Columbia, there's Fort Jackson, you have Shaw Air Force Base, which is about 40 minutes away. You have McIntyre, you have the National Guard, you have in our building that's located on Assembly Street, there's just about every federal agency besides DOD in that building. You have Social Security, you have SBA, but I know all our stuff goes through headquarters. So if there's nothing in South Carolina, this is the opportunity where you do a capability brief and pitch your idea. Maybe something, because I heard you say human resource training.
Consulting services to talent acquisition, yes.
Okay, so yes, because I know I think that's the same one that another one of our 8A firms have, that NAICS code. But that's the opportunity you can take to reach out to the federal agencies. And like I say, normally we have the Salute the Small Business during Small Business Week. We don't have that. We're not doing that this year. We're just doing the award, but we're planning for next year. But there's a lot of federal agencies around that you can pitch your idea. They'll normally do an hour-long brief to you, let you do an hour-long brief, and that way you can pitch your idea or pitch your business to them. That's how, if there's nothing that you have done that you don't see here in South Carolina, you can reach out to the contracting officers and pitch your idea to them. But there are opportunities there. They're just not here in South Carolina. And
Okay,
this-
great. I was just starting at that level. I got a chance to participate with Standout yesterday with the Clemson to learn more too. So I'll try that avenue. So thanks so much.
You're about to say something, Michael?
Yeah, I was going to add like, and you know, and I did the standout yesterday too. But I was going to add when you do, you know, when you kind of, because since I was a contracting officer, and when you say, here's what I do, it's kind of that 5 minutes, maybe you have a capability statement. And you can also go to USA Spending and then look in South Carolina, put that code in there and see how many contracts have been awarded under that code. I would suspect that there's some other additional NAICS codes you can add too, because when you register in SAM, you have to put at least one NAICS code in, which is your primary code. Here's what I mainly do. Just say it's construction is always a good example. I fall back on that all the time because you can do full construction, right? 236220, but there's so many different other things you can do: roofing, drywall, plumbing, electrical, HVAC. So you can have one code, you can have 3 codes, you can have 150 codes, because you're basically telling that contracting officer, here's what I can do, because that's public information. So even when they do market research, they're going to go back into SAM and look at that too. And, you know, sometimes, quite honestly, and we're always going to be honest with you, and I try to do that as a contracting officer, I'm not going to lead you down the path and where you get false hope. If there's no opportunities, you know, hopefully that's what people will tell you, because you don't want to spin your wheels. Just as a marketing strategy, maybe you look on USA Spending, you find a couple contracts that were awarded. A lot of times there'll be IDIQ, indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, like 5-year contracts. You could see when it's coming up for renewal, if it's something you could do, and then go from there. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Like he said, if you go to award search, advanced search on USA Spending and look back a few years and put your NAICS code in there, was it 541612?
Correct.
And actually, over the last 5 years, there have been 3,700 contracts in that area. So you can look at the, you can see this right here was one through the VA. So it is something that the federal government has bought before.
Hey, Angela, try South Carolina just as to narrow it down a little further.
And it's been 35 in South Carolina.
Okay, very good. This is so helpful. Thank you for walking through this.
You're welcome, ma'am.
And you all could see that, you know, how you know, you have to put some time into, because you could spend hours just on one little area. Not could, you will, when you're looking for opportunities out there.
At DISA Group, that's one of our 8A firms, I believe.
KRJ and DISA both are one of our 8A firms.
I think you might have, I can't see as well because I don't, you know, the screen, but I think you might have put by the recipient being a South Carolina firm, which is a good search too, because you know, a lot of times we're trying to bring some of these back to, we had been doing like separate webinars, like maybe we'll spend an hour just on USA Spending and break that down. Angela's doing a great job going through this in such a short time. So you can actually look at your competitors and see what they've been awarded, or, you know, that right there, you can see how many contracts in this. 2 or 3 of them are our 8A firms too. So
is that better?
Yeah, that's a little better. But I think when you did the search, you might have clicked South Carolina.
Yeah, I broke it down by South Carolina.
Recipients, you know, there's 2 different things. There's who gets the contract and where the contract was awarded. I think the other one was place of performance, but either way, it gives you the good right idea.
Yeah, I did location and NAICS code.
Larissa, we're going to go ahead and get started.
And Angela, I think we've got an additional question. It's from Cephas.
Robert, can
And
you hold on a moment? Someone I hear your background is interfering with what we're saying. Can you please mute your phone if you don't have a question? Sorry about that, Robert. Go ahead.
okay, it's from Cephas Simmons, and he asks, how do you get a product into the VA or DoD that's completely new? It's first of its kind.
That's the same thing. That's a marketing tool. If you have something new or you're not a veteran and you're trying to get in DoD or into the VA, that's where you market, ask for, you can send, because I know we have a list of agencies here in South Carolina, in the contact person. You can ask for a capability brief. At that point is when you mark, because I know I have with my firm tomorrow, I'm doing a capability brief with one of my 8A firms to Joint Base Charleston. They're a new firm to the program. They've been in an 8A program 4 or 5 months. So he's marketing his product, which is construction, to Joint Base Charleston, and he's working with McIntyre Air Force Base too. So that's when you do a capability brief to the contracting office to let them know what products you are. So if you have something that you're trying to get out there, the best way to get into the federal government is to do a capability brief. If they don't know about you, there's no way for them to want your product. They don't know it's there.
Yeah, and if it were something very high level, like something like brand new, no one's ever heard of, you know, you would have to go to a pretty high level to get attention. Maybe like on the regular government side, like DoD, maybe you'd go to DLA, Defense Logistics Agency, depending what the product is, or you know, somebody in the VA would direct you to a higher level, depending what it is.
Yeah, we can direct you to the regional Atlanta office for the VA.
And while I'm on, Angela, the question in the chat there is, does the government contract dessert food trucks?
Do they dessert food truck? They have a dessert food truck?
Right. Does the government contract dessert food trucks?
I know I've seen a lot of just general food trucks at a lot of bases, like in the commissary parking lot. Like whenever I've gone for classes at other bases, that's a pretty common thing.
Yeah, so I was about to say, I was trying to make sure I was understanding the question right. But I know Fort Jackson has Family Day every Thursday, I think it is. They keep moving around. I think it's either Wednesday or Thursday. Family Day, they allow for food trucks. Family Day and Graduation Day, they allow for food trucks to come to the parade field and to the the PX. So there are those are the only 2 instances I know that the federal government Fort Jackson rather allow food trucks on the base. Is doing graduation, they're doing special event. I know they used to before the pandemic. They used to do something during the 4th of July. So, or something like that. When they have some type of event, they allow food trucks. So that's another avenue you want to try. But I know during, like I said, during graduation and Family Day, I think it's Wednesday and Thursday, or Thursday and Friday, they do allow for food trucks to come on then.
Yeah, and sometimes there's things like at Shaw Air Force Base, where I live right by it, there's a air show. There's going to be one this year, and depending what they do that particular year, they may contract food trucks and things like that. But you know, that's actually a really great question, because typically if you just said, hey, I have a sandwich shop or something like that, that's kind of a little more difficult to go look for contracts out there.
Yes.
But it might be a matter where there's some kind of event that you can cater or something like that. So you never say never. Now I'm talking again, so I'll tell you the next question was, it was Cephas on a medical device catheter. I think I said that right, but you
Yeah, you
correct
said
me
it
if I'm
right.
wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that to me almost sounds like something that you could go to the VA and meet with them and say, here's a product I have, that, you know.
Like I stated, I will send Robert and Carolyn a list of our agency contact list when I send them this presentation, and they can send it out to the one that signed up or the one that's on this call. And so you can you can email or reach out to the contracting officers and ask for a capability brief. They'll know exactly what it is. Like I said, they'll allow you 30 minutes to an hour to come in to pitch. I know Joint Base Charter is allowing for an hour to pitch their your product and your services.
well,
And as we get back into the normal mode too, you will see events out there where you can actually, we do one every year normally. Somebody asked me that on the event from yesterday, but we normally do a salute to small business during Small Business Week in May. We have not done it the past couple of years, and that's a great event because we bring in buyers from all over the state to the Columbia Convention Center. They sit at tables and you get to talk to them for 5-10 minutes and tell them what you do and look for opportunities, hand them your capability briefing. So there's more of them around. I know Charleston usually has, again, if we ever get back to 100% normal, there's always something going on in Charleston like that.